The year is 1904, and a young boy has just been given a gift, a one-of-a-kind, life-size doll. Little did the boy know, however, that this childhood companion would one day be known amongst the most haunted artifacts in the world. Tonight, we recount the legend of Robert the Doll. Thank you for joining us for another gathering of the Midnight Quarter. Our story will begin when the clock strikes midnight. On a seemingly inconsequential day in 1904, 4-year-old Robert Eugene Otto of Key West, Florida, was gifted a doll. Some versions of the story suggest the doll was purchased by Robert's grandfather whilst on a trip to Germany. Other, more sinister versions of the legend imply that the doll was a parting gift from a disgruntled former employee of the Otto family. Regardless of how he came to be in possession of the doll, Robert and his straw-filled playmate soon became inseparable. The doll was even given his owner's first name, Robert, whilst the boy, instead, took on the name Gene, an abbreviation of his middle name. What was, at first, a charming connection between a boy and his doll, soon became a topic of concern amongst the staff caring for the Otto home. Maids would overhear the pair playing together, a normal occurrence in a household blessed by the whimsy of a child's imagination. However, it was the presence of a second, much deeper voice accompanying the boy's own that sent shivers down the spines of the unwelcome eavesdroppers. It wasn't long before Robert the doll began to take blame for the small acts of mischief that occurred around the home. Broken plant pots, childlike scribbles on the walls, and even mutilated toys were all met with the same plea of innocence from Gene. Time and time again, the boy would insist Robert did it. One night, as the home's inhabitants enjoyed their peaceful slumber, a sudden, awful howling tore them from their dreams. Upon entering their child's bedroom, Gene's parents found him huddled beneath the blankets, and the same wretched shriek that had awoken them now poured out from beneath his bedsheets. The cause of his outburst was immediately clear, for every single piece of furniture in the room had been violently thrown upside down. As the couple attempted to calm their son, whilst also taking in the extraordinary sight before them, Robert sat, unfazed as ever, at the foot of the bed. When questioned about what had happened, Gene's answer was the same as it always was. Robert did it. Despite this alarming episode, the boy could not be separated from his partner in crime. Soon, the memories of that night faded into frightful obscurity, and as the boy grew into an adolescent, he became more and more isolated as his friendship with Robert intensified. On the rare occasion that Gene left Robert alone in the house, staff would hear giggles and footsteps travelling between rooms that they knew to be empty. They would find Robert in strange locations within the home, and some would even swear that when they caught a glimpse of him out of the corner of their eye, his expression would change to one of pure hatred. Many members of staff even quit, citing Robert as the sole reason for their need to escape the household. One evening, a visiting member of the Otto family decided to put an end to what she deemed to be overgrown, childish idiocies. Gene's aunt supposedly tore Robert from the boy's arms and marched the doll up the stairs into the attic, where she locked him securely in a wooden chest. That night, the family barely slept, as they could hear the creak of small footsteps on the ceiling coming from the attic above. According to some versions of the story, the next morning, Jean's aunt was found, deceased, in her bed. It is said that Robert remained in the attic for many years, and though the occasional giggle or shuffle of furniture could be heard, it would appear that, at least temporarily, he'd accepted his fateful exile. Jean grew into a fine young man and found his bride, Annette, in Paris, where he was establishing himself as an artist. Whether he had long forgotten his childhood consort is not known. However, upon the death of his widowed mother, he, along with his wife, moved back to the same childhood home where his doll had waited, patiently, for his return. Reunited at last, the pair wasted no time and were soon as inseparable as they had been all those years before. It is said that Jean quickly became short-tempered and unkind, and would hear nothing unfavourable said about his favourite companion. Preferring to spend his days painting, Jean and Robert spent countless hours together in the turret room of the home, much to the concern and disdain of his partner. When he wasn't painting, Jean would position Robert in a window of the turret room where he could look out upon the neighbourhood. On days like this, school children would run, screaming, past the home, terrified of Robert's changing expressions and his penchant for moving from window to window. Not content with spending his days with Robert, Jean also insisted that the doll join them for dinner each evening, and even that he watch over them at night as they slept. For many years, Jean, Annette and Robert navigated life together in their Key West home, until Jean met his demise in 1974. Annette followed him into the afterlife a couple of years later, and little is known about the years Annette and Robert spent, alone, together in the house. When the house sold in 1979, however, Robert stayed with it, and he remained a seemingly peaceful companion to the home's owner, Myrtle Reuter, until she sold the property in 1994. The new owners transformed the home into a bed and breakfast, and its doors remain open to this day. Upon this change of hands, Robert was donated to the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida, and it was here that Robert's legend became ingrained in local folklore, and where he eventually found his worldwide fame. Sat within a glass box, Robert receives a regular influx of eager visitors. Though some come and go with little but a ticket stub to remind them of their encounter, many others have found themselves at the mercy of Robert's wrath. The walls of Robert's room within the museum are adorned with letters, not from his adoring public, but from those who fear they may have brought his curse down upon themselves during their visit. It is said that those who disrespect Robert, such as by insulting him, mocking him, or even by taking his photograph without permission, will find themselves facing misfortune at best and disaster at worst. Car crashes, divorces, injuries and lost jobs have all been attributed to Robert, with some fatalities even being suspected as consequences of his curse. The letters beg for forgiveness and hope that Robert will be kind enough to lift the curse before it is too late. So, whether or not you are a believer, should you ever find yourself entering this eerily cold room tucked away inside a Key West museum, be sure to show your respects to Robert. Just before I do my whole thank you for joining us thing, I just wanted to say we have really scared ourselves making this video. So, Robert, if you're listening, we think you're a really cool dude and please don't curse us. Okay, anyway. Thank you for joining us for another gathering of the Midnight Quarter. We'll see you again when the clock strikes midnight.